We go. We did it. We did it. We're here. Hello, friends. Your old pal Justin Robert Young joining you, Austin, Texas, here on a Wednesday, and we got news. We got news. The Biden White House rolling out that they will indeed debate, and it might happen as soon as next month, as soon as June. It also means that we might be at the end of the committee of presidential debates. As they have been deliberately now cut out by both of these major candidates. And so, what's the point of you? If the candidates won't pay attention to you, if the candidates don't feel like they need you, then what's the point? This as part of a big rollout. It'll give me something to do. Here we go. So former President Trump on Wednesday has accepted Joe Biden's challenge. This is new from when I sat down. This means that they're going to debate before the conventions. Holy shit beans. The candidates are threatening to cut the nonpartisan Commission on Presidential Debates out of the process. Biden's campaign offering to debate the former president twice in a one-on-one setting, well before most early voting has concluded. I think that's probably supposed to be begun. Biden in a video, Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020, since then he hasn't shown up to the debates. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice. First, pick the dates, Donald. I heard you're free on Wednesdays, referring to his criminal trial schedule. It's pretty witty. Trump quickly replied on Truth Social, I am ready and willing to debate Crooked Joe at the 2 proposed times in June and September. I would strongly recommend more than 2 debates, and for excitement purposes, a very large venue. That was one of Biden's issues, was he wanted no crowd. The Biden campaign views the current debates as structured like an entertainment spectacle that doesn't enforce its own rules. So this is the reason why they are killing the Presidential Debate Commission. The campaign wants to work directly with broadcast networks that host both GOP and Democratic primary debates. So essentially, we're outsourcing it to NBC, CNN. I mean, those are the ones that do the most, NBC and CNN. Biden's offer would include a vice presidential debate in July with another presidential debate in September, all done before most early voting. So, what are the takeaways here? Number one, Trump won. He wanted early debates. He didn't want them on the schedule that the Commission of Presidential Debates wanted them on. And so there is an agreement there between the 2 candidates. Neither of them want to work with the Commission on Presidential Debates. Donald Trump will get early debates, and we will see whether or not that is a wise decision by the Biden campaign. Now, the upshot of it is that every time people think Joe Biden is going to self-immolate on live television, he surprises people with how spry he is. He did it during the debates in 2020. He's done it during the State of the Unions. When he needs to summon it, he cannot fall asleep on stage. He cannot say, I ran into my old best friend, John last name. He can remember. I mean, if I'm Trump, I'm like, I need to push Biden to remember as many details as possible. I want Biden talking as much as possible, telling as many Abe Simpson stories as possible, because he will fuck up something. He will screw that up. At some point, he's going to say something weird. Now, that's not Donald Trump's style. Donald Trump's style is attack, attack, attack. And while we're at it, why don't we attack a little bit more? So the other side of this is that while Joe Biden has come out and told anybody that'll listen, I don't believe the polls. I actually believe I'm up. I think that America understands that Donald Trump is an absolute menace. I don't think they'd be doing this if they for real thought that. Now, I do think that Joe Biden believes he can best Donald Trump in a debate. I don't think that's a question. But this is an aggressive move by them. And I don't know if they believed they were really ahead and they would make it an aggressive move like this. Will this be the first time in U.S. history that we've had two men who have been president debating on television? Yes. Yes, it would. Every other time, it's either been a president and somebody who hasn't been a president. But no, we've never had two presidents debating. This will be the earliest. This will be the first time that we've seen debates before the conventions, for sure. Yeah, my first 100 days versus your first 100 days. That actually would be a pretty good line. That's a good one, Dr. Whiskey. If you're going forward that one to Mar-a-Lago, because I think Trump would like to show that. He would like to show that. RIP the Commission on Presidential Debates. Long a boogeyman for third parties, looked at as a crony organization for the Republicans and Democrats, and yet here we are, shunned by both. I think that the organization is dead. I don't know what the point of it is. If it can't bridge these gaps. Like, why does it need to exist if it can't bridge these gaps? And maybe they were, a useless organization anyway. They were just a surrogate between the campaigns and the networks, and the campaigns can talk to the networks themselves. I would wonder whether or not you would look at this like a home and home, where one campaign gets to pick one network and the other campaign gets to pick the other network. There's a lot here that's fascinating. It needs to exist to shut down third-party candidates. No, it doesn't at all. Like, the campaigns can do that themselves. They're basically just going to book a television show. That's what this is going to be. This is not going to be organized by anybody else. And they're saying, we don't need anybody else. We can shut out third parties ourselves. We don't want anybody talking about RFK Jr. We don't want anybody even thinking about, but if he qualifies, blah, 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 blah. We don't want to outsource that to anybody. You want to know when we don't have to worry about it? When we can just agree to go on television together. So on that side, you might say that this is an acknowledgement by both campaigns that they are scared of RFK Jr. because they are going to shut him out. If they are just booking a television show, they are under no obligation to have him on stage. And if there's no governing body to this, then they have no say in it because they're not there. Again, they've just been banished to the shadow realm, the Commission on Presidential Debates. I know. Look, it's been a bugaboo for third party people forever. Oh, it's the reason why the League of Women Voters. I've heard the talking points. Well, guess what? They're done. So it wasn't the Commission on Presidential Debates that was keeping the third parties out. It was the two parties that were saying, hey, we won't involve you if you keep threatening to put a third party on stage. Any thoughts on why they asked for two? I don't know. I think the thing that would make the most sense for me is it's two because they'd rather two than four. Because if you're booking them as television shows and they can't agree on anything, right? You'd want one each where each person got to pick from a list of pre-approved venues for this, right? That, all right, let's say Fox, NBC, ABC, or maybe it's simulcast. But basically, you give each campaign one debate where they can make specific decisions on it. Is it a town hall? I mean, I guess the Biden campaign doesn't want any audience at all whatsoever. So let's actually see what Chungus said. Crooked Joe Biden is the worst debater I've ever faced. He can't put two sentences together. Crooked is also the worst president in the history of the United States, by far. It's time for a debate so that he can explain to the American people his highly destructive open border policy, his new and ridiculous EV mandates, an allowance of crushing inflation, high taxes, and his really weak foreign policy, which is allowing the world to catch on fire. Quote. Where he puts quotes is just very arbitrary. I'm ready and willing to debate Crooked Joe at the two proposed times in June and September. I would strongly recommend more than two debates and for excitement purposes, a very, very large venue. Although Biden is supposedly afraid of crowds. That's only because he doesn't get them. Just tell me when, I'll be there. Let's get ready to rumble. Does he have to pay Michael Buffer? Michael Buffer is litigious. Michael Buffer will sue your ass. All right, we're going to see whether or not we bump this into... We're not wrong today. This, of course, was the Joe Biden video.
Donald Trump lost two debates to me in 2020. And since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal. I'll even do it twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald. I hear you're free on Wednesdays.
What is this music behind him?
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. And since then, he hadn't shown up for debate. Now he's acting like he wants to debate me again. Well, make my day, pal.
I mean, so I actually like this. So, all right, 14 seconds long, right? Short and sweet. You put the music under it, but I like the writing.
Donald Trump lost 2 debates to me in 2020. And since then, he hadn't shown up for debate.
So there we go. I won twice. Aggressive. Start out the box hot. Don't state a thing. Just go right at it. You lost twice, and you ain't shown up to debate since. You're bad at debating. You have no good car ideas.
He's acting like he wants to debate me again.
This also is rebutting the fact that Donald Trump has been very aggressive of saying, like, he's like left empty podiums on stage saying, Joe, debate me, Joe. So this is Joe saying, I'm not running. Who's running?
Well, make my day, pal.
And then he uses a boomer catchphrase, a very boomer catchphrase, Dirty Harry. Who in the audience knows, who in the audience has seen the movie Dirty Harry? And by the way, I think Biden should be doing more of this stuff. The more boomer shit he can do, the more people like him. Don't run away from being old. Be very old. You gotta ask me, do you feel lucky, punk?
Even do it twice.
And so there we go. That's the meat. I'll even do it twice.
Twice. So let's pick the dates, Donald.
Let's pick the dates. So he is saying, he is throwing it into Donald Trump's court.
You're free on Wednesdays.
And then it's a setup for the punchline of LOL, you're in court. Very on brand for both. This is like, ooh, we got some campaigning going on. Trump, of course, responded immediately to that. And now June and September. Is it just me, or do those statements feel more like YouTuber boxing promos than presidential debates? I mean, we are in a Jake Paul, Mike Tyson world. Me and Kevin Ryan tried to tell you that Jake Paul, Mike Tyson explains the culture. It explains culture and politics. Tried to warn you. Tried to warn you. Now, that being said, I don't know whether or not this happens. There's a lot of details that have to get squared away. And if I'm the Biden campaign, I'm taking advantage of the fact that the Trump campaign has been so thirsty. So you want to pitch them a deal that is very slanted toward you because they are very arrogant about the idea that all they want is Joe Biden on stage. 4 years ago, I asked the podcast if Trump would skip debates, and they said it was impossible. Then he skipped a debate. Well, he didn't want to skip a debate. Biden said he would not debate Trump with COVID. Unless you mean the primaries. Fucking Heaton. I'm trying to see whether or not we're going to do this on We're Not Wrong in the A block, or whether or not we'll just talk about it in the intro. Heaton, very cynical third party Heaton. Back in my day, Republicans and Democrats cared enough to lie about competitive democracy. Now they don't even bother lying anymore. Although, I do think that this does open up the idea for just more debate programming. Like, why wouldn't RFK just make a deal with CNN, Fox, or MSNBC to just 3 weeks in a row debate Cornel West, Jill Stein, and somebody else, or to have one of those other debates? I think those will all rate, and if they make news, they'll make news. Why not do it Twitch debate style? Yeah. Oh my God. Oh my God. I can't believe you just said, did you just say? It's my impression of every Twitch debate. I'm still wrestling about whether or not I love or hate this. It's certainly dialing up the spectacle. I've always said I want more debates, not less debates. I like debates. I love debates. I think it's probably better that people stopped pretending that the Commission on Presidential Debates was anything other than, a messenger between two parties and networks. I do think it will be interesting to see the two parties have to actually directly work together instead of having a go-between. In these times, no one changed their mind because of a debate. Yeah, I agree. Although this will change the cadence of the election, because normally the convention and the debates are kind of like cultural signifiers that now's the time that people pay attention. There have been swings in polling in debates, but I don't think that anybody has ever meaningfully come back on one. There are gaffes that I think it's usually posthumously, people will say, "Oh, that killed him." Will Trump be under gag orders during the debates? That would be interesting. I'd be curious to see. I think that the debates helped Biden in 2020 and hurt Bush in 92. I think that Trump did himself a disservice in 2020 because he came off as way too chaotic. And that underscored what people already believed about him, that he was too chaotic to lead us through COVID. Oh, what was the results of the Maryland primary? I didn't look that up. Oh. Wow. Also Brooks over Trone. Look at that. The establishment wins. That also means that the Democrats are going to have to spend money in Maryland. Trone was offering to self-finance. He spent $55 million. Spending $55 million of your own money to come in second place. Quite the bugaboo. Quite the bugaboo for David Trone. How long will the debates be? Didn't we hear that Biden wants to speak for shorter times? Biden's campaign wants him to speak for shorter times. If I am Donald Trump, I am letting Joe Biden talk as much as possible. I think the more Joe Biden talks off the top of his head, the better you are going to be. Counterpunch. Let him ramble. Let him Abe Simpson. And then. Did you see Biden after the State of the Union? He stayed an extra 45 minutes glad handing. Well, when you're that fucking keyed up on crank, like, yeah, it's hard to go to sleep. Also, remember, the State of the Union was a pre-written speech. Debate will not be. We will not be streaming on Friday. No, I will be in Florida. Biden too, high voltage. Oh, God, that'd be funny. Trump's like, yeah, but I need a drug test. He should say, I'm waiving a drug test. I'm waiving the drug testing. Although, look, Trump's probably like, he's on like that British Sudafed that has more meth. When that like that one picture, it had all the British Sudafed. If Biden wins, how long till Harris is president? Come on, let's at least get through. Debates are happening next month. Can we do that before we get to if Biden wins? This also gives me a Good Friday topic instead of just going over the Trump court case, because that was like mandatory shit that I was going to have to do. But now we can dive into debate coverage. Drugs were good enough for JFK. Well, he had Addison's disease, but yeah, no, that's true. That man loved drugs. Okay, we will take quick calls, but I'm now realizing that I have to get off in like 10 minutes so I can rewrite We're Not Wrong because we are actually going early on that. But give us a call, 510-404-8030, 510-404-8030. Call now. Biden should wear a bulletproof vest to the debates, like Stormy Daniels, right? All right. Mr. Merrill Barr.
Justin, wouldn't debates this early be better for Democrats because Democrats are usually the ones who do early voting?
Well, if you are the modern GOP, you are very much encouraging your voters to vote early. But as well, back in the day, Republicans voted early in higher numbers than Democrats did. So I don't know if that's a fixed pattern that Democrats have voted early, that will vote early more forever. But theoretically, it benefits. I mean, Trump's thing was debates need to happen before people can vote. So that's why he wanted debates like immediately. And so Biden agreed with that. The Commission of Presidential Debates had already set 3 dates that were, some of which were happening after early voting began in some states. I don't know if it matters. I mean, because a bad debate performance by Joe Biden maybe discourages people from banking their vote. And that's really what you want if you're either party, is once somebody banks their vote, you now no longer have to bug them with text messages. You now no longer have to bug them with mail. You can check in with them, say, did you already send in your ballot? They say yes. In some states, you can actually see who sent their ballot in, and you can just automatically reflect that. So you actually wind up spending less money. But let's say it's a bad debate and people are like, oh, I don't know, maybe I don't vote for Biden. Then that would be bad.
In regards to the RFK part of this, is there a world where if this is how we're doing it, he could bully his way in? Or my counter, or not counter, but my alternative
Your
idea.
counter to your own point?
Yeah. Or could he Ross Perot this shit? Could he buy TV time?
Oh, he can buy TV time if he had the money. If he had the money, he could buy TV time. But in the past, there was either the League of Women Voters or the Commission on Presidential Debates, right? There was a third party that organized between the two parties and would also put a threshold for a third party to make it up on stage, right? What's happening now is this has gone from there being any kind of referee to this just being a private thing that is happening between the Democrats and Republicans. So for whatever criticism you might have had of the Commission on Presidential Debates, they're gone now. And I assume the product will probably look almost identical to the one that they were going to put on.
What do you think RFK's response to this is? Do you think he has a response to this?
I think his response is going to be, I'm a wriggly worm controlling RFK's brain. No, in all seriousness, and on We're Not Wrong, we actually have a doctor that wrote in and is like, by the way, this is not uncommon. People eat undercooked pork all the time and have weird parasites that can indeed get into your brain. I mean, I think his point is, hey, I'll go on any television show that wants me. They're cutting me out. Not that the Commission on Presidential Debates was going to be excited about letting him on, but now it's impossible. It was a thing in which, so when you say he could bully before. You could criticize the Commission on Presidential Debates for saying, oh, you're a shill for these two major parties. Now there's no one to complain to. You know, you're complaining to the Republicans and the Democrats, and they are both openly and actively telling you to get fucked.
So all right, then this is where I'll end. Biden would never want him on stage, but do you think Trump, if it came to a certain point, would be willing to get on stage with him to do what he tries to do, which is shout and yell and fight? Do you think
With
Trump
who?
would want to do it
With
the
who?
RFK?
No. Trump's been shitting on RFK for 2 months. Why? The one thing they both agree on is that nobody should be talking about RFK because they secretly don't want RFK to take from either of them. They both would like for RFK to go away. So no,
Okay.
RFK is not going to be anywhere near this.
By the way, we have official results. Electors came back. The Mikey decision is upheld. See you later.
Sorry, Meryl dropped off there at the end. We couldn't hear the last part. Highly conflicted, Judge. Highly conflicted. You know, we used to be a proper country. Never lost the belt. I think time standing on podiums is kind of stale. Is there a better format? I mean, this would introduce the idea that you could totally blow up the format. You could just make it a conversation. Dr. Whiskey.
Got a small critique for you.
Go.
So your Trump impersonation's usually spot on, but the last one that you just tried a few minutes ago really veered off into the Captain Morgan territory there.
All right. What the fuck? We have breaking news here, man. We got breaking news. What are we doing? Honestly. Breaking news. And these are the fucking calls I get. I got actual work to do. I'm spending my time with you guys. These are the fucking criticizing the Trump They're not all gonna be great. I look like Rich Little. Huh? I look like the impression man from Impression Town. Come on. Give a brother a little break. I'm getting over a cold. Ugh. Good Lord. We got actual news. Here. They should make it so each candidate gets an equal amount of microphone time so they can use it how they want. There's going to be less of that now because the Biden campaign wrote to the Campaign on Presidential Debates and essentially said, we don't like you because you don't enforce your rules. So they're going to assume that the networks are going to enforce the rules, which, I mean, either of these campaigns give a shit. They look more like Don Rickles. I'll take it. Sounds like goss. No, this is news. They're going back and forth. This is an actual campaign moment. Simple solution, Biden pays for the event. I paid for this microphone. I would not be surprised. I mean, I am fascinated by how the logistics of this are going to work. Because the one thing that the Committee on Presidential Debates did was like, all right, we're going to put it on ABC, we're going to put it on NBC, and then we're going to put it on PBS or whatever. Or that they're going to have those teams organize it. Whoo, boy. So the campaigns wouldn't pay for anything. But this is a change. When did the League of Women Voters... When did the League of Women Voters stop organizing Debates. 1988. So 88 was when the League of Women Voters left. 1992, we get the first debate with a third party person on stage. And now the Commission on Presidential Debates is essentially no more. I cannot see how it continues after this. Yeah. Pretty wild. All right. Well, shit. I have to actually get this done now because we actually had breaking news, and the We're Not Wrong people want to change it. So, any word on the polling percentage of the third candidate would have to meet on the stage? No. Again, there's no referee now. Both campaigns have said they do not want the Commission on Presidential Debates. That would normally set a threshold. We're done now. Done. Over. There is no threshold. You have a private meeting between two parties that are going to have a television show. There is no referee anymore. Done. No League of Women Voters, no Commission on Presidential Debates. This is a television show organized by the Republican and Democratic parties. The breaking news: Donald Trump and Joe Biden have agreed to debate, with the first one being next month, far earlier than we've ever done it in American history, and before the conventions, before either of them are actually the nominees. And then the subtext here is that the Commission on Presidential Debates, which has run debates since 1992, is no more. Done. I can't, unless this goes horribly and both parties say, hey, you want to know what? Maybe having a referee is a good idea. Then it's cooked. You think Netflix will try to get one? I would. Oh my God, the streaming angle. Oh baby! All right. Well, here we got to run. I actually have to do shit now. So thanks, Biden.